Welcome to the Metal Voiced. Alan, we got a great show today.
Double the trouble here. Iron Allies.
Yeah.
Herman Frank and David Reece.
Look at that.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys too. October 21st, Iron Allies.
He's too
Blood
excited.
in, blood out. Herman Frank from Victory, X Accept, and of course so many solo albums and so many other projects. David Reece, X Accept, Bangalore Choir, and just you name the band, David Reece is there. Guys, pleasure.
Sinners, Reece. Too many to name.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right,
We got another one on the list.
Yeah. So, guys, first things first. How did you guys get together to begin this band together?
Go ahead,
Was
Herman.
Yeah, I do. I give my best. 1.5 years ago, around 1.5 years ago, it got in my mind. I want to form another band because it's not that easy to find people that can take my pace. So, so Davis was in my mind for a couple of years, and then I just pushed. I do love Facebook for this. I just pushed Facebook, searched for David Reece, and sent him a message. Hey, David, I would like to. I'm planning on a new thing. Please give me a call. And next day, David called. So we talked on the phone, and we did discuss a little bit. Hey, how you are? How we are? How are you? Blah blah blah. And then I sent it him the same week. I guess 2 or 3 backings of a couple of songs I wrote, and he sent it me back 2 days later. Recorded.
He's an efficient guy, that David Reece.
Yeah. So
well, you know.
that's why when I mentioned I was looking for people that can take my pace. He definitely does. So I was overwhelmed and as quite surprised, sending back me 2 days later 3 songs with backing vocals, everything, and nice melodies. And I said to myself, hey, this is catchy. That's the thing I want to do. So we started talking and WhatsApping via video on WhatsApp or something. Because he lives in Italy. I do live up north in Germany. So we talked a lot via video. And so then we, once in a while, I sent him a new song. It went back and forward. And hey, so it happens.
As easy as that.
Actually, that's.
I didn't expect
it
that easy. I didn't expect it that easy.
48 hours finish songs on your laptop.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's a riff, man. I mean, I turned it on and I know Herman's career for 40 years. I mean, and when I got the riffs, I went, and I just started scribbling down the lyric and caught a melody, booked the studio, went in and tracked it. I mean, it was, I think 3 songs, yeah. And I sent them back, and I got the first film I got back was, I think, this track Freezing, and it was Herman's horns up like this and his cowboy boots on the desk, blasting Freezing, going like this, like 40 seconds of it. And I go, I guess he likes it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah, I do remember. I was surprised that it fitted like, hey,
boom.
I never heard something that fits so good, and I did love his what do you say, this timbre of his voice, and he did sing different than he did on other projects, and so it was all good.
Yeah. I mean, it's the riffs too, Herman.
So David, explain to the people who haven't heard the whole album, like what it sounds like. Well, give us a description of the musical style.
Going back to what he said in the beginning, we discussed after the 3 tracks that I turned over to him. He said, Dave, I really want to go traditional metal. That's who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to be modern metal. And I'm like, cool. And Herman Frank's, I mean, in my opinion, riffs speak for themselves. And the influence of, obviously, there's Priest in there. There's a lot of stuff that he and I came up on, cut our teeth on, and Herman's style and my style. I mean, that's the only way I can kind of put it all in one basket. Herman was emphasizing, melody. We got to have melody. So feel free to do what you do, Dave, and I'll do what I do. But it just glued together, and I'm not going to question why. Sometimes things just work out. And I've told you before on your show, I was really getting tired of being in bands, and I went solo. And I was really, a couple guys that we all know in common said, Reece, you need to go back and sing heavy. That's what people expect from you. So, even after the UDO tour, I realized the truth of it, and so I've been kind of slowly growing back into that, getting away from I don't know, I don't want to compare myself to Coverdale, but I was kind of doing a Whitesnake trip for a few years, and I was getting bored, man. I mean, there's so much of it out there, and it just overdone,
All right.
Well, you touched upon so many things in that, just what you finished saying. I basically all my questions have been answered. I mean, you touched.
Oh, nice talking to you. Have a great night.
All right, guys.
Full of surprises. Full of surprises is really, I got that JP feel you were talking about right there, right off the track opener. And what a great track to open the album with. It really sets the tone for the rest of the album.
That one, Herman kind of, he wrote that track later on in the process. I think Herman, weren't we looking for like 3 or 4 more just to make sure we had an extra bunch to pick from? And he sent me
you're right.
surprises. And I mean, we're not going to lie. Both of us love Michael Schenker, and it's kind of got that groove. But then when I heard it, I'm not a heavy System of a Down fan, but I like the real vocal line. And it just popped in my head, and I sang it in the phone, and I sent it to Herman, and he goes, "You nailed it, man." And actually we tracked that in Northern Germany together. We really didn't demo that. That was just raw. Wow. And then we went in and cut it.
All right, you describe it now, Herman. We had David Reece describe the album. You describe it in your own way. What your vision was?
I wanted to have an album which sounded real fresh, different to the stuff I've done before, and I do love the combination of this heavy guitar riffs, heavy sound, and a little bit of this bluesy thing what David gives to it. It's not just like screaming heavy metal like a lot of people do. There's so much melody and so much the way he pronounces words, and he's finding the melody. He starts a melody, and then he builds up to the chorus. It's fantastic. It was one of the easiest things for me to work out an album. Okay. It fitted from the start. It just fitted from the start on, and for sure, I came up with a couple of tunes. We said, okay, not this time. Maybe we save it for the next album.
Did you write any lyrics, Herman? Herman, did you write any lyrics, or was it just Dave?
No, I mean, if I have if I have the most talented poet of the universe on my side.
Wow,
man!
Big words there, David.
I'm going to sleep great today, but I will say this: we Blood In, Blood Out had another title, and I had been watching a documentary. It's a guy who's got a podcast, I think, called Blood on the Razor Wire, and then all these gangs were talking, and I started explaining it to him. He goes, "Blood in, blood out," and he just started singing it. So it completely changed the whole.
Did you get any heat? Did you get any heat with the blood in, blood out? Being sort of like a common expression.
No, I haven't.
Other bands,
when other bands, I've had a few people say, that's an album title from another well-known metal band. Yeah. Which I was unaware of, and so far so good. I'm safe from that. I haven't been attacked yet. But
it's a good thing you didn't name the album Back in Black. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, physical graffiti or something like that. I might have had a little flack with the media, but no, it was Herman's idea because it had a completely different vibe going, and and Nightmares in My Mind. He came up with that title. Because I think I had a different thing rolling with that as well. And I just went, you know what, that does sing better. So he is part of it, absolutely, lyrically. Because he's really into the riff and, kind of keeping that hook flying, you know what I mean? But he
I like Martyrs Burn. Martyrs Burn. That was like a nice groove with the guitar, and then the vocals got a very sort of like an effect on the vocals. And Dave, that's got a great story there behind it too, right? That's a really compelling story.
Well, it's if I've got a few seconds, that I'm also a war guy. I like to study World War II, and during the Blitzkrieg, the elitist part of England, London. They specifically said, the German army, let's not blow that to smithereens. Let's save it so when we take England, so we have the nice homes, we have London Bridge, we have Big Ben, and they would literally, from what I've read, some people would have tea parties and watch the air battles happening.
Crazy.
And they would sit down and watch it. It was dangerous, but it was kind of a weird form of entertainment. I may be wrong, but that's what I've read. And so that's where it came down. If pull up a chair and learn and watch the Martyrs Burn. These poor innocent Germans and English and Americans are all buzzing through the sky, killing each other while people are sipping tea and scotch. It was like a game, So, and it had that Sabbath groove to it, which.
Yeah, I like that. The Herman, it's a very nice groove there.
Yeah,
exactly.
I call that slow burning swing.
You like that?
That's what I call it. When I listen to that, it's got this slow burn, but it's got a little swing to it too. So.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's Heaven and Hell. It's Iommi. It's a lot of his influences. Him and I both love Sabbath, and so yeah.
I'm still a fan of Tony Iommi. He was one of the greatest guitar players. He's one of the best.
I mean, you got songs here: Blood In, Blood Out, Destroyer of the Night, Fear No Evil, Martyrs Burn, Blood on the Land. So I literally listened to the album. I had to stop it. I had to get up and walk away because my heart was pounding too much. It was just too aggressive. I had to come back and listen to some more songs. I just found myself getting frustrated and getting angry and it's just relentless, this album. And I have to say, the last time I had this effect on an album was your album, The Devil Rides Out. So
cool.
You are yourself a riff meister, as David said.
Thank you so much.
It's just amazing the riffs that you've come up with over your career.
Hats off to Herman.
So much.
I mean, it wouldn't be, like I said, when I got, here's the story behind the first 2 or 3 tracks. I do a lot of recording with a guy close to my area in Italy, and he's not a metal guy. He's a great guitarist, brilliant singer. And the first track I'm singing, and he's looking at me, I'm singing next to him in the desk, the idea of the layout, and he's listening to the guitars, and he hit stop, and he looked at me and goes, "Who's the guitar player?" And I said, "Herman." And he goes, and I thought, I didn't know what he was going to say, and he looked at me, you know what he said? That guy gets it. And he held up his left hand, and he goes, "It's right here." And I went, wow. I mean, because he doesn't like metal. I mean, heavy, he'd rather play Jim Croce songs, and sit around the campfire. But he looked at me and said, wow, the guy has tone, he's got feel, and he's got melody in his riffs, and it's right here. It's in the hand. So, and I knew right then. And
thank you so much, David.
Boy, Herman, what's the set? So you guys are going to go on tour, I'm assuming, right? You're going to go tour this album?
Yeah, for sure we will do some shows.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Are you gonna play some of your era songs from Accept and some of Dave's era song plus the new album? What are you planning on doing?
I guess we just do originals from David and myself.
Okay, so in other words, from your careers,
a lot of people would ask for, "Hey, why don't you cover a couple of Accept songs?" I mean, there are a couple of so many bands they do this. I guess I would prefer that we just do songs from the Iron Allies and maybe a couple of Herman Frank songs, maybe a couple of David Reece songs, something like that.
Okay.
It's a difficult situation for me because in a lot of the media I'm asked the same question, and well, why don't you just throw a quick melody together because the fans will expect it. I mean, I'm kind of torn in between both. I understand Herman's position, and then I understand the fans' position. Yeah. And I'm kind of the same as Herman. I mean, we both have played those classics to death our whole life. And our whole idea is to be fresh and original. But I understand the fans saying, well, it would be great if you could throw a mashup together, 4 or 5 songs and then continue your set, but we've kind of agreed that we're not going to go down that road right now.
All right,
And
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But there are going to be.
Maybe we will do a quick, just a medley, a short medley.
Yeah.
Maybe for half an hour.
I feel like we're making the decision now. I think we're making the decision together here, guys. Let's pick up our hats. Okay, who wants a medley?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Which song do you
interview
want to
I'm
hear?
doing. Yeah, what do you want to hear? You guys that are watching right now, I mean, post what a great mashup would be. I mean, I saw Ellison Soto the other night, and they did a great outro. They just released an album, so they did all their songs, and then they came out and did like a 5-song encore of Peace Cells, Symphony, all that stuff included into Rebel Yell and a couple other covers. And I thought, well, this is kind of odd, but the audience went batshit crazy when they hit those riffs from Megadeth, and then they went right into something that was like, the British wave metal. And then they did a Priest thing, and then they jumped back into their song. Mm-hmm. So it was clever, but kind of looked at my wife and went, And then I mentioned it to Herman, and he said, no.
I think you guys are making the right decision. If my vote counts, stick with your original thoughts and do it.
I'm going the other way, Alan. I'm going the other way. I think you want to bring people in to the club so they can hear your new songs. You know what I mean? You need a little bit of a draw, right? Because it's new and people don't know. Yeah. They're not familiar with new, right? So you got to sucker them in with 1 or 2 songs, and then you could play all your new album and get them hooked onto that. That's my opinion.
I got a feeling.
That's my opinion.
Feeling I'm going to get a WhatsApp call after this interview. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Hey, you know what, Herman? We're just me and Alan. We're just big fans, right? Of both of you. Yeah. That's it. We're talking as fans, right?
So which song you want to hear? Which song we should play?
Herman, we got. There's a lot of good songs.
Put your money where your mouth is, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to bring out the list. I mean, do we have time?
Right.
We can make it all nighter.
If you were going to do a mashup, Jimmy, and you were us, let's put yourself in our boots. If you were going to do an Accept mashup as a little treat to the fans, what would you say and suggest? Because you're the metal voice, so.
Look, Restless and Wild, anything off of that album, I think that would be cool.
I would love to do this.
Balls to the Wall, any song from that album. I mean, David, you're going to have to sing higher there if you want to do London Leather Boys. That's always been my favorite song. So Stalingrad, some great music, right?
I mean, it's Herman's call. I mean, I'm the front man, and I can sing those songs. I mean, that London Leather Boys is a great live song. I've played it a blue million times. I like Restless and Wild. That's brutal. The riff. Losing More Than You Ever Had. I mean, I did that live a few times, and you should have seen in Sweden. I mean, the crowd literally rushed to the front by the barricade and were reaching over, screaming, like, "I can't believe you're playing that song off Balls."
But it also be songs that you guys like from that catalog too, not only the fans, right? Something you like.
Yeah, it would have to make sense. I mean, everybody wants to hear Balls or Princess, Metal Heart, of course. I mean, it's really, I mean, Herman and I were the band leaders. We're going to probably sit down and look at each other and go, let's listen to what people are saying and talk it over. But if he's not comfortable playing it,
that's it. That's okay.
That's all right. I'm comfortable with everything.
There it is. We changed his mind. In 20 minutes, we changed his mind. I love it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
You should be in the band, Jimmy.
I could play tambourine.
There you go.
Just say polite for.
But you guys come with a certain pedigree, I think is what we're saying overall. And Herman says here, people want to see real men. They don't want to see little boys. And I asked this question to Mark Zonder a couple of weeks ago with his new project. I mean, is there room in today's market for this type of music and guys with your history?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's many reasons, facets connected to that question. Musically, number one, it works really well between us. Business-wise, I think it's a great career move for myself and Herman. Marketing, it's a great move. I mean, Herman and I both were promoting records before this was officially to be spoken about. And I mean, right, Herman, every time, can we get to Iron Allies? I mean, we both laugh
Yeah.
and call each other, you know, every interview was, I heard a rumor, you know, and somehow it leaked out. And then, you know, we were biting our teeth going, you know, we want to talk about our solo records right now, but everybody was really focused on this. So obviously the decision that we made and all of those facets is a healthy one. I mean, I know Mark and those guys under, I mean, they're doing the same thing. Now, there are a ton of great young metal bands out there, and God bless them. I hope they have a chance to get on a stage and play. I mean, we've got a pedigree. We've got a legendary history together. We've been down that road. And, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm not bragging about who we are, but you're right. There's a certain expectation of what we do musically and what the fans expect from us.
Yeah.
And I think we can deliver it, man. I mean,
I think so too.
this has been going on for a year and a half.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
we've been working on this for a long time, and we started in April of 21, I think, somewhere around there. I actually went through Herman today and was looking at all the phone recordings I did of the stuff you were sending me today, and I found some riffs that you maybe have forgotten about that are brutal, dude. I've got them in a little file, and I'm gonna say next record.
Next
Remember what
record,
you did?
Iron Allies too. Herman.
Yeah.
Herman, have you
Yeah.
actually jammed together with David and the band?
Not yet.
Wow. Wow. It's because you live in different countries. That's why.
I mean, we just met in the studio then. I visited him once in Italy to
Hmm.
make sure that we're going to do it. And I just wanted to talk to this guy, you know. And I was, from start on, it was a nice chemistry, a good one.
Yep.
And so next time we met in the studio. And it
Yeah,
was
we
a
met
perfect
in
time.
Hanover.
Do you remember when you asked it for the 80s? For the 80s feeling?
The studio,
bought
I
him-
mean, you guys, I walked into Horror Studios and there's a giant board, giant speakers in the walls, you know, special vocal rooms, special guitar rooms. There's an apartment above for the bands. It was like I stepped back 30 years and went, yeah. And the sounds that we got on that record, obviously, it's proof in the pudding. And the drums are live. Jovino came in and, I mean, he wrecked 12 songs 3 times each in like 8 hours in 2 days. You know, the rest of the band came in and did their thing, but it's pretty much what Herman had in his head dictated what we were doing. He produced the record. So
Cool. Yeah.
Herman kind of led us all by the nose about this is what I want. And I think everybody involved delivered. Malta, Francesco, and Michael. I mean, they deserve a great shout out. I mean, they're
We should mention that.
professionals.
Yeah. So
man.
Francisco Jovino is the drummer. Malte Burkett. I don't even know if I'm not pronouncing that.
Malta Fredrik Burkett.
He's the bassist, and rhythm guitarist is Mike Pessin.
Pessin.
So we should mention them too. Yeah.
So we got a couple of Germans, we got an American and an Italian and a Russian.
Look at that. Look at that.
In the band. It's pretty cool.
Look at that.
No, I mean, you guys have been relevant, right? I mean, if it's not your solo albums or different groups, you guys are still out there doing it. It's not like we're dusting off the cobwebs. So I think that definitely leads to a momentum builder when it comes to Iron Allies.
Herman, have you ever, I just wanted to ask Herman, have you ever been asked like in some other massive band to be the guitarist? Because you got the chops there. I mean, you know, I always wondered, why isn't Herman in, you know, this band or that band? Have you ever had like an audition or anything? I know Dave.
They do all have good guitar players.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah.
I wish a priest would have asked me, but
there you go. Perfect one. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have been perfect for priest.
They had been searching for a British guy, and Andy Sneap, it's his job.
Yeah.
Because he was involved in producing and stuff like that, and he's such a nice guy and talented too. So, but that might have been, I would have loved to play in Priest for sure.
Or Scorpions.
Everybody would.
Scorpions, your brothers in Germany there, right?
Yeah, hey, Matthias Japs is doing well.
Yeah. He's not bad.
They're looking for a third guitarist, Jim.
Well,
So
that's the way it's going, right?
Maybe they might ask me in 10 years if somebody goes for retirement or something.
Yes.
I don't know. And on the other side, I really like to do my own stuff. I'm a composer. I'm producing. I'm an engineer. I'm coming up with some riffs, and I still like to play guitar and come up with some nice melodies. So right now, I prefer to do my own kind of music.
All right.
But you never know.
You never know.
Hey, people! If you need a decent guitar player, give me a call.
My Reece.
How about Kiss?
Iron Maiden might need a fourth. You never know.
Yeah, I can see you standing
Kiss,
next to the
I
tall
would
guy.
love to.
Yeah, you fit right in with Maiden.
David,
You'd be perfect.
and for you, I mean, you told me that in Badlands, just quickly, this is a crazy story. You were asked to audition. I'm not sure what the story is, but when oh my God, Ray Gillen was no longer in the band, right?
Yeah.
He was ill. They asked you to jump in, right? Or at least to
Well,
audition you.
come on down. They thought that I was the guy, and Jake, was the boss, and Ray had, I don't know if he had passed yet or was at home at his mother's, close to passing. I don't know. God bless him. But I had done a bunch of shows with Badlands, and Greg Chason, the bassist, who I think, there's 5 bass players in my world, and he's one of them. Baltus, him, Malta. There's just a limited amount of bass players that I really love, and watching him play in that band, we'd open for him, and Ray would always come in the dressing room, put his arms around me, and say, "Damn, dude, you're nailing it." And I mean, here's Ray Gillen. The guy was amazing, but Greg kept an eye on me, and then they kind of fizzled out after that 3rd album that was going on, and he called me one day. I said, "Come down to the rehearsal studio. We want to. I've told Jake about you, and Jake, he's interested." So I went down there, and it was basically the 3 of us, and we waited 3 hours, and Jake just opened the door, hair in his face, cigarette burn in his hair, cranked his Randalls to ear-bleeding volume, sat on a road case, played through the set a few times, and in those days I could do high wire and pretty easily, and it went really well. And Jake and I exchanged numbers. And he's a vampire. I mean, the guy sleeps all day, and the guy would call me like at 4:00 in the morning. "Hey man," I'd be like, "Hello, who's this?" "Jake, dude, what are you doing?" I'm sleeping. What's up?" "Oh, nothing." And he was just kind of getting in my head, what I was thinking, who influenced me. And I'm a big Creedence fan like him. You listen to those Badlands albums, you can hear all of his influences, right? And then one night he called me and said, "I've changed my mind. I'm going to work with Mandy Lion, and I'm going to do a Prince meets death metal project called World War III." And I went, "Okay." So,
That's a bit of a change.
Yeah, Prince meets death metal. I didn't know what he was talking about, and then he just kind of disappeared. I mean, and that's Jake. I mean, he's a brilliant player, but in and out, and it is like he never. I think he said about at rehearsal 5 words, and then he'd call me and just kind of mumble and then hang up. It was never like, "Do I get the gig or what's going on?" It was weird.
All right, Herman, in the last minutes, anything you want to tell everybody about the new album, Blood In, Blood Out, that's going to be released October 21st?
I guess if I would be a metal fan, I would buy it.
There you go. That's it. It's simple. Simple. Keep it
I have
simple.
to have a shower after. Every time I listen to it, I gotta go have a shower because it seems like
I love
ran a
how you
marathon.
put it. Your heart's pumping, dude. I mean, if that works like that for you physically, that makes me happy. I mean,
It comes with a bar of soap, this album.
that could take it a different way. You could, I don't know. Let's say, we make a bar of soap out of one of his guitars or something. I don't know.
Well, hopefully you guys will come to North America. Hopefully. I don't know. I guess we'll see, right? Herman, how long has it been since you've been to North America?
A couple of years, 8 years, 9 years.
Was it with your
Something
solo
like
album?
that.
What was it? What was the last time you were
No,
here?
except
Actually, me and Alan were probably at that show there, Stalingrad, or what was it? The Stalingrad tour. Alan, when was that?
for sure it was Blood of the Nation, but
Blood of the Nations. Yeah.
at this time, at this
Yeah,
area.
we met Herman. He was having a cigarette outside the venue in the afternoon. We went down to interviews.
Well, you don't remember us? 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
I might even have a picture with him somewhere. I think.
Hey, congratulations again, guys. It's an outstanding album, and
Thank you
so much.
I think it's mission accomplished. From everything you described to us today, you've nailed everything. All your goals have been achieved on this wonderful masterpiece, Blood In, Blood Out by Iron Ally.
Check your blood pressure after you listen again tonight.
Absolutely.
Have yourselves a nice night, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Bye.
And like I said, October 21st, AFM Records. Another video coming out October 20th for Destroyers of the Night, by the way. Go on YouTube.
Great
Blood
song,
In,
by
Blood
the way.
Out.
That was a great tune. That's like a real heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
song, man.
It's going to be a great video. And Herman and I heard today the 20th will be released, that video. So
I like the riff.
it's,
I
available
like the
for
riff.
pre-order. Yeah. Pre-orders are available now. There's a limited white vinyl of 300 units. I don't know how many's left. Apparently it's doing pretty well. And black vinyl. And of course, CD, Digipack. And of course, the monster in the background, the streaming platform. But yeah, we're going to do everything we can to get out on the road. We're working with an agency right now in Germany. And we're fishing right now for dates. So
All right.
All right.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Good
thank
luck.
you, guys.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.